The video games industry is one of the most innovative and fastest growing industries in the world. The men and women of this industry work tirelessly to provide entertainment for the masses, and some of these provide the music. Music that we love. Music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves playing those video games. Video games. Music that we love. Music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves listening to video games. Video games. Do we even know who these people are? No. Would video games be the same without them? No. What you're about to hear.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another evening of the Indiegame Showcase. I am your host, as always, CallMeGiant, but you can call me Giant. And with me, as usual, is my friend Chris.
What's up, guys?
There's no video yet. I haven't turned that on yet.
Waving at the air.
There it is. Yeah, waving at nothing. Don't worry. Elizabeth Taylor did that to Andrea Bocelli. She waved to a deaf singer, blind singer. Oh boy, even I got that wrong. Anyways, tonight's gonna be a good night as always. We have ourselves a multiplayer game for our first guest. It is called Gurgamoth. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, I gotta leave it like that because it's all. We know why. And the second one is Blood Alloy, which is a twin stick, 2D side scroller, crazy explosion style game. So let us get down to the thick of things right here and get that up into the air. Oh, look at that. And we will call up our first guest, who is hi Archmar, hi Giant, not average, but interesting guy. Yeah.
Hello.
It's Chris. It's Chris. All right, so we're gonna give Patrick a call with Gurgamoth. Ringing.
Here we go.
Howdy.
Hello.
Good evening.
How's it going?
It's all right. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty well.
Good. So we are just getting everything together to play some Gurgamoth. It is a local multiplayer game. Is that what it is?
That's correct.
All right. Sound and music volume is just in case we'll put them down a little bit so we can make sure that everybody can hear you. And for everyone who has not seen this before, because it actually is very new, it is just recently on Steam. Is that correct?
Yeah, it came out on Steam 2 weeks ago.
Wonderful. So yeah, just give everybody a brief synopsis of what Gurgamoth is.
Gurgamoth is a flying fighting game where the level is your weapon. It's basically like Quidditch for cultists. Every level has a different obstacle that you can bash your opponents into.
There you go. So we're going to get this going right away.
So this is strictly a multiplayer game, eh?
Yes, it is currently.
All right, so let's get all that into a nice spot there, and we will start playing. So, what was the initial inspiration for Gurgamoth?
So actually it came from a bug we saw in someone's game where it was like a Smash Brothers kind of brawler clone, and there was a bug where you could dash infinitely, and so it became a flying game, and everyone who was watching the game be played just like lit up because it was so novel. And so CJ, the other designer, and I spent a couple weeks thinking, like, how could we make this into an actual experience? Like, how could we design a game that had that flying, that joy of just flying around and bashing people out of an arena?
That's one way to do it. So, how long has this been in development for?
We spent 3 months developing it.
Oh, wow. So it's fairly recent.
Yeah, we made quick turnaround on it. We were working on another game called the Rust Belt, and this was kind of a side project for us. We knew when we were working on the Rust Belt that there were a lot of unknowns for us in terms of getting onto Steam, building an audience, and just finishing a PC game in general.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind, can we talk a little bit about Rust Belt after?
Oh, yeah.
That's all right?
Definitely.
Because, yeah, one of the things that we did was we met up with you guys at PAX Prime, and that's what you guys were showing off. But we are now about to play some Gurgamoth. Oh, is that the one that you chose first?
No.
Okay.
I got this.
Press A to play, and we'll just go with a random, and we'll go from there. So it's just 2 of us. I wish I could get 4 people, but unfortunately it wasn't in the cards for this evening.
We'll try to die enough for everybody.
Yeah, we'll try to exploit enough people. So the premise of the game is, what
hit that.
did you just do?
Apparently you can't attack the middle one in this
Oh,
one.
you can't attack the middle one.
Oh,
Okay.
you can. You should be able to.
This is a purple world with as a ball in the middle, has spikes on it. Oh jeez. Oh yeah, okay. Oh jeez. Yeah, so oh my goodness.
Get him.
So every time you attack that center ball, it will speed it up a little bit. But
Okay.
if you don't have enough, the little white dots over your head are your charges. So once you run out of those, you have to wait for them to recharge before you can attack again.
Okay. And when it comes to the levels, what was what was the inspiration for like how the levels are all set up?
So we started with one level, and that's High Temple, which is the level with spiky altars and bounce pads. And from there, when we decided, like, because we first started selling the game on itch for $3 after working on it for about 2 weeks. Ooh, we got the slowdown.
Sorry,
No, it's all right.
we're gonna try not. We're gonna try
in the
not to
thick of
make too many noises while you're talking. But if we do, just realize that we're in full on combat now.
So our first level was the spikes and bumpers, and after a certain period of time, the walls would shrink in. And when we decided to go all the way with the game, like to flesh it out into a full experience, we sat down and we talked about all the different types of hazards we could add to the level. And so that became like timing-based hazards, like space station, moving hazards like the lumberyard or the sawmill, and some of the more versatile hazards like the bouncy ball and the laser ball came later when we were playing around with a single player experience. And so there were these tools that we were building for the single player, and they ended up being really compelling objects to interact with in multiplayer.
So you do have plans for single player?
We're kind of testing the waters right now. Now that we've launched the game, we're seeing like what do people want from it? Like, is there enough interest in the game to justify us putting a lot more work into it? And I've been working on bots. Everyone wants online multiplayer. It's just way too difficult to get that in a fast-paced game like this.
Oh yeah, we understand that. Like when it comes to a lot of games, like a lot of people almost unfortunately expect there to be an online multiplayer. But we've talked to many developers who have foregone that because they know that sometimes it's just overly difficult to do it. Oh jeez. And sometimes it's just not quite necessary. Oh geez, the place is getting smaller.
Oh yeah, this is our original level.
Jeez.
Yeah, you know, the multiplayer bridge is a tough one to cross.
It is, and we're a small team. There's an illustrator, an animator, and 2 developers. And so online multiplayer has a lot of work that goes into it, especially like when your netcode has to be just 100%. And in this game, like there's not much room for messing up the netcode because even with 100 to 200 milliseconds of latency, the game just becomes unplayable.
Yeah, you can imagine that would be a
Goodness.
challenge. I mean, there's not a lot of replication, but trying to get it so that it matches in real time is tough.
Right.
Would there what would be the difficulty for implementing an AI system for single player?
Just time. And that's what I've been working on. So after 2 days, I was able to get like really stupid bots up, but they're really precise, but their choices are really dull. And so if you can just outthink them, then they're not much of a challenge. So really it's just iteration. Like the next iteration, they'll be a little less precise, but a little bit more intelligent. And it's just a matter of like tweaking them until they're fun to play against.
Yeah, we've talked to some devs where they're saying that when it comes to making AI, it's almost easier to make them. It's a challenge to make them stupid.
Yeah, because it's really easy to make them insanely precise because like they don't have the kind of human latency where they see
following
something.
the vector, right?
Yeah,
That's where I'm supposed to go. I'm going.
yeah.
You almost got to fake that to make it look a little more randomized.
Yeah. Well, one thing I tried doing was just faking latency. So they see the game as it is, but when they send a command to their controller, it has a delay. So it looks like they're like just as far behind as a normal human player would be.
Okay. So far, well, from what we've experienced, like we tested this out a little bit earlier just to make sure that things were working on stream and on with our controllers and everything. This seems like this is a lot of fun if you have the multiplayer with more than upwards of 4 players, and that's what this can deal with. Right now, it's more of like what would you call it? It's still very fun, but it's more of skill over craziness.
Right.
Skill, yeah.
No, there's. I can see that there's definitely skill in here because you have to figure out like how to utilize the bumpers and oh goodness, the tricks involved. I was hoping that I could burst through those things. So with each character, tell us about what each character sort of represents, if they do or if they're just there for the aesthetic.
So all the difference are visual. When we originally came up with this idea of a bunch of cultists summoning gods, we wanted each one to have their own mythology and their own god that they were raising. In the end, they all just raise Gurgamoth, but each one has a different sort of theme, like the Viking that you're playing as, and then the Egyptian. There's also like the traditional Lovecraftian cultists and like an Aztec warrior. So.
Okay. And does each level, or did the levels available sort of represent like the characters in one way or another, or are they sort of separate on their own?
Yes, in a way they do. It started off unintentional, but then we started noticing that the color palettes were and the themes were just naturally lining up, and so yeah, every character has a level at this point.
Naturally lining up like me with that laser.
So what has been the most difficult thing to overcome in the development process so far?
Really, it's just so like we have a very iterative approach to game development, and the hard thing is like when you're early on, figuring out why the game isn't where you need it to be yet. And for us, we had to slow the game down about 50% from what it used to be. It was just far too chaotic. And like once we did that, things started falling into place a little bit more. But even a month before we launched, we were getting ready for PAX South, and the people were putting the controllers down after a round or two, and we were trying to figure out like why are they not engaging very much. And at the same time, we were playing a lot of other local multiplayer games, and we were seeing like one of the big reasons we wanted to keep playing is because stories would come out of our games. So like we would in Towerfall, we would get the slow-mo and then perfectly line up an arrow to hit someone, and like there was just this wow moment that came out.
Oh geez, sorry, we just hit a slow-mo on this and it just sort of went crazy. So when it comes to like, so you had to slow the game down to make it more accessible to the average person. Would you ever consider putting that in as a like a
toggleable,
a bonus thing or an unlockable thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Someone actually,
like a skill thing, you know, if you guys want to challenge on super speed.
yeah, someone actually asked for that. We had a little launch party in Seattle where like a bunch of people came over and who had helped us through the development of the game, and we took over a board game bar in Capitol Hill and just set up a bunch of TVs and had people play it. And one of the requests we got was like, we know this game used to be much faster. Is there any way we could have a slider that changes like the speed of the game? I'd say it's unlikely, but it is a really cool idea.
Definitely. Whoop. Oh, I was gonna grab that
Wow.
power up. Tell us about the power ups and how, like what they do. Are they how they affect the individual or the map?
So the red power up that spawns in the corners is a shield, and that gives you an extra life basically. Like it'll save you from 1 point of damage. The orange power up that also spawns in the corners is an infinite dash charge, and that just lets you spam. I almost always end up killing myself with it, but if you use it well, like it's a huge advantage. And then there's
sawmill.
Sawmill.
Yeah. I used to work in a sawmill for 10 years.
this is an
I'll be the judge of
extremely
this level.
accurate representation of what a sawmill is.
Oh, for sure.
Ooh. Yep. I like how you have the sort of the color of the character splatter and stay. Yeah.
So, was there a reason you chose Unity? I seem to notice a lot of this 2D style games seem to be gravitating to the Unity platform.
I've been working with Unity for 5 years, so it's just at this point we can build games so fast in it that it doesn't make any sense to use another platform. Like a lot of our pipeline for getting art into games and building up prototypes quickly is just built around our understanding of how Unity works.
Yeah, you bet.
Your blood shame coats the arena. Thanks, Arch. By the way, Archimar, if you ever want to join in on a multiplayer game, you could come to Casa de Giant. Because this would have been 33% more crazy if we had the third person here.
The game gets much better, especially when you're first starting out with more players. Although I think I've played this game the most 2-player, and it has its own benefits. There's a certain point at which you start like knowing what your opponent's going to do, because the choices you have are fairly simple. Like you can attack someone, you can dodge their attack, or you can stop your dodge on top of someone and stun them.
Oh, what?
Sounds good to me.
I just got so that purple that purple spike ball that moves around the room,
Yeah,
that can kill you.
it can. But you can also attack it to knock it at someone else.
Oh, so if you don't attack it, then that's oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can also dodge through it. You can dodge through almost any obstacle in the game. Lasers, the ball. You can even dodge through the ice grenade.
My God.
How did you not die there?
I don't know. I managed to sort of surpass everything. Is there? I know that you're kind of up in the air on if you want to continue with the whole development process on the game or what you want to add or whatever. Are you going to consider doing like a mythology or story for each character?
No, probably not. I think we all kind of like that it's a little bit mysterious. I can understand the appeal of having backstory and having more like meat to who Gurgamoth is and why you're summoning him, but at the moment, no.
I could really see this game being like a side scroller, where you're fighting the environment to get through it.
Well, then you're going for sort of like a Meat Boy style.
That would be fantastic, though. That would,
Yeah, it
because
definitely would.
we do really constrain the level to these small arenas, but we have talked a lot about like just what would it be like if the level like moved.
Yeah, and started moving more quickly as you got further through it.
Right.
Just kind of challenge you.
I don't think I would assume that wouldn't be too hard to to program because you just disable a wall and make it so that the floor and the ceiling continue.
Right. Right.
It's a little bit different than that.
Well, I mean, in some ways it is. We could treat it like a infinite runner, like Cannabolt, and that's like mainly that style of like the camera moves along one axis and it randomly generates the level as you're going through.
Sorry, I just gotta continue talking.
Oh no, that's all.
Sorry, so I'm just getting a message.
Now we must pause everything.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have to pause everything for me to do this.
We need to update our technology. We need more screens.
I have two 32-inch screens, and I still have to shut the game, stop the game to talk really quickly.
Couldn't have waited for a slow-mo moment. So you said you got a pretty good pipeline with Unity right now. Does that mean you got, like, I know you spoke about your other game. You got several others that are, or any others on the market?
None others on the market. So we started out with the Rust Belt, and we spent about 6 months on it, and that's really where we built our pipeline. Like from Royce, our illustrator, handing off static assets to us or animatable objects to our animator, and then our animator like puts them through Spine, and then from Spine they go into Unity, and everything just kind of comes together really nice and neat.
Nice.
Oh, actually, this game has it's close, but not, of course, not remotely like a game called Hardlander. And the thing about Hardlander is that you control a rocket ship with really goofy controls. But the thing is that it uses the enclosed system that you do, or it removes the walls on the sides and makes it so that it loops.
Okay.
Either that or it has little obstacles in the areas. But yeah, it kind of gives me that vibe, and I think. Oh shoot. Okay, what's going on with this one?
Is Hardlander multiplayer?
Yeah, it's also a straight up local multiplayer game.
Has that come out yet? That's actually made by one of our friends, I think. We met him at Indiegame Con last year.
It's probably been out for 2 years now, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I forget who made it. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, I remember we played that 4-player. That was also incredibly crazy, just because you have the way you control it is so ridiculous.
Right. Is that the one where your thrusters can actually grab onto other players?
No, it's where all you have is your ability to use your thruster.
Okay.
Like you can move. You take off like a normal ship.
Okay.
But that's the only, you only have your momentum from behind, so you have to turn your ship backwards to slow it down or to turn it.
Okay.
So it makes for some really goofy controls.
Yeah. They were right next to us at Indie Game Con this year in Eugene. That game was fantastic, and it was like one of those chaotic local multiplayer games. Yeah,
this kind of reminds me of it, but this has a lot more control to it.
Yeah,
because you fly around instead of having actual gravity physics. And I think that this game, because there's no gravity physics, it adds an extra, special feel to it. Because I don't think I've played many multiplayer arena style games that completely lack gravity.
Actually, we started with gravity, and after a month and a half, we just said, people aren't having fun with this. Like, the gravity was actively interfering with them controlling their characters and having a good time. So we just cut it, and immediately it was much better.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So that brings us up to the very, very first iteration of this game. What was it like?
So we built this in a 48-hour game jam, and at the time it was called Gurgamoth Lives, and it was twice as fast as this. All the cultists looked the same because in 48 hours we didn't have enough time to really like do the art. So when we put it in the judges' hands, because it was like an actual competition game jam, the judges within 2 seconds had killed themselves. Like they didn't even interact with each other. They just like flew off into the walls and died. And by the time we'd given the presentation, all of them had kind of set the controllers down and said, "Oh, that was nice." Like, but we didn't win the judges award. But after that, like we spent a lot of time just like balancing and just trying to make it so that you had a lot better control over characters, and also like legibility. Like the trails that we added behind the characters were one of the last things we added, and it was something that immediately made the game a lot more readable. Like you knew where you were at all times. You could read what happened after each interaction much better. Because imagine without those, like if you get hit into a wall, you have a split second to figure out where you went, and the trails help a lot with like saying this is what just happened.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that how that would help a lot too. Getting some contrasting colors, getting a nice trail behind you, getting just the little things that can separate you from your characters. Because I've played games that even with the same color, or even with separate colors, I still totally forget who I am.
Yeah.
And so far, I haven't had any problems other than you can do victory points of 7. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to see the difference. We're going to turn power-ups on.
Oh, power-ups off now. It's just skill versus skill. Ooh. Archimar in the chat says he likes how the screen distorts during slow-mo.
That's one of CJ's effects. He's our engineer, and he is a shader genius. So every time you get the slow-mo, it actually twists the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a post-processing effect.
How many people are on your team?
There's 4 of us.
Oh, okay. What do you do?
I am one of the designers, one of the developers, and I handle all of the terrible things about running a business that no one wants to.
Like talking to the guys on the show.
Yeah. Being the one to answer all the tough questions.
I don't want to sit there for an hour with these guys, man.
I was talking more about accounting. This is part of my job that I do enjoy.
Yeah, I'm assuming you still like watching people play the game.
Oh, I do. And having this game out is really nice because there's been a lot of YouTube videos. There's been a handful of written reviews about it. So it's one of the first games we've gotten out that actually has our name attached to it, and has a little bit more legs to it.
Oh my goodness.
So your experience with Greenlight, I'm trying to wrap my head around it because it seems like it's very arbitrary. Everybody's different. Some people get greenlit right away for no apparent reason, and others wait for the thousands of likes or shares.
It's hard to tell. We managed to get through in 18 days, and we started after working on the game for 2 weeks, so we didn't really build any momentum going into Greenlight, but we did have a handful of the Seattle community behind us. Like, we're part of the Seattle Indies community, and we have a lot of friends up in Vancouver and Portland who are also game developers, so it helps to have a built-in following.
That's definitely a good thing. Yeah, we're always asking the developers now about their Greenlight experience, because honestly, it is so completely random that we really have no idea. Like we've heard games that should have never made it to make it in a couple days, and games that are beyond anyone's expectations to be stuck in the Greenlight limbo.
Right.
I'm asking out of pure selfishness. I'm going to be launching my game soon. So.
I would say it's not something to be too afraid of, because it's gotten easier, and from what I can tell from people's Greenlight postmortems, the community has fallen off. So like there's fewer people active on Greenlight every day, and you need far fewer votes than you used to get through the process.
Okay.
down to the wire on this one.
I don't know. It just seems like Greenlight is a good idea, but I think it needs to be a bit more transparent on how it works. But I also understand why it doesn't work like that either, because then you'd have people that would find a way to exploit it.
Right.
So it's a bit of a that was close.
Nope.
No, you're one ahead.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah, it makes sense. As frustrating as it must be for a lot of people who try to use it. Oh, that was a bit too close. Wait. Okay, so I see his character. Holy shnikes! It will occasionally spark. What does that mean?
That's when I hit B twice.
Oh, it's the stun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get him! Yeah!
If he lands that on you, he gets all his charges back, you lose your charges, and there's a split second where you don't have control over your character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because also, how does that slow-mo happen when he hits me like that? Because I don't think I've managed to get that done yet.
So when it detects that you've got the winning point, that's when it slow-mos automatically.
Oh.
And that's to add a little bit of drama, but also to give you a chance to save yourself. So you can pull against, the direction that you're going, so that you can survive being hit towards spikes.
Okay. So we now. Oh no! Oh no! No! There's gonna be a high instance of items. Ah, my dog! I might have to run away for a second to shut him up.
Fativen.
Yeah, his name is Oscar, but he goes. We can call him Fativen.
Well, at least I do.
The wonders of a Chiweenie, loud and obnoxious. Oh crap!
So the funnest part of developing this game, and the most frustrating part, let's give a contrast here.
The most fun, I mean, whenever you're making a local multiplayer game, the most fun is just constantly being able to play it and like design the game around like having fun. That's by far the best part. The hardest part, I think, is local multiplayer games are very niche. Like, there's not a big audience for them, and so finding that audience is a huge challenge. Like,
yeah, actually, the neat thing is that there seems to be almost like a resurgence of the want for local couch multiplayer, because of the fact, like, I went to a tiny one-day convention called the Indiegame Bash in Calgary. We're out of Calgary, Alberta.
okay.
And basically it was called the Indiegame Bash, and what they did is that it was just a good It was a good
That was my secret move.
Yeah, it was your secret move. 4 hours of about 10 TVs set up with 10 different local multiplayer games like Screen Cheat or
Nice.
There's a new one out of Calgary called 321 Grenades, where it's literally you throw grenades at local multiplayer where you throw grenades at people. What was it? Crawl, Duck Game.
Oh, those are great games.
Yeah, so it was basically just a local tournament just to have some fun like that. Oh, jeez. Oh.
Going down, man. I got the skills.
And that's what the Indiegame Bash is all about. Just sharing a love for local multiplayer games. So it's like people want it. It's just people need to find a way to get it.
I mean, the other hard part is, like, to play them, you need to gather friends around. And most people prefer to either play, like, a solo experience or to play online. And, like, games like Duck Game do actually have online, and it's fantastic. Like, I've played a number of hours of that game online with people who are so much better than me at it that it's embarrassing.
See, I would play a game like this, but I have no friends.
Yeah, that's the other problem, is that, you know, the other big issue with games like this is that you want to play them. Like, I wanted to play it when we were supposed to have you on last time, but I had nobody to play with.
Right. And that's one reason we're looking at adding bots. It's not nearly as good as having online, but at least it's, like, if you want to play the game and you don't have friends over, at least you can have fun.
Yeah, definitely. Are you planning on doing any like achievements or anything for possibly like kill death ratios or anything for Steam?
Kill death ratios is interesting. We've been talking about the ability to track your wins over time, because in between matches, if you keep going, like we want it to say like you've got this many wins this game, so that there's some persistence, so that you have an idea of who's doing better overall.
Yeah. Okay, so I just got to do one thing really quick. I'm gonna put the screen on away, and I'll give you an extra minute or two at the end of the show to make up for this. I just got to do one thing, so I will be right back. All right, back. Sorry about that. The wonderful world of having a dog, and he's being extra douchey today. So I do apologize for that. Anyways, we're back, and we shall continue. 7:40. So what were we just talking about before I went crazy? Oh, actually, I got a good question just to start the conversation up again. So every developer we talk to, we always ask this question. When it comes to being a developer, you always encounter lots of glitches, bugs in the development process. Is there any glitches or bugs that stand out in your mind or were extra hilarious?
Oh man, that's a good question. We still have a couple that we haven't nailed down. One of them is occasionally a controller will continue rumbling indefinitely. Like we call it the massage controller bug. And then there's another bug where if you pause during a slow-mo, the shader keeps going until the end of the level. And so those are the ones that like are outstanding that we haven't just tracked down and nailed yet. Throughout the process, the funniest bug we ever had was it used to be when you hit an opponent into a spike, it would the blood spray wouldn't stop. It kept respawning, and so it would just be this fountain of blood that would last the rest of the level.
Oh, you need to bring that back.
I think we did change something with the blood, because the blood used to be a lot more gratuitous, like a little bit more like fountainy. I'll wait till one of you dies to see if that's still the case.
I would almost make make it an option, like create, let's say a Super Pig mode. Do you remember Super Pig?
No.
Well, Super Pig is a game where it's a 2D platformer, but the only way that you can actually see the map is to die, and your blood sprays the map, so you can actually end up seeing it.
That's kind of like Ink. Ink did something similar to that. It was a puzzle game where when you landed, or you would spray paint everywhere, and that would outline the level.
Okay, but yeah, there was a bit of a fountain. Small blob of fountain.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as it used to be. I think we changed something with it.
Yeah, I'd be totally cool with there being a blood ocean mode. Whoa. Has there been anything that you wanted to implement that you weren't able to, or that you had to hold back?
The single player. So we actually spent about one of the months of the 3 months was spent on implementing a lot of the single player features. Like we had like some computer controlled enemies, we had special levels, and like a wave system where like waves of enemies would attack, and it was single player and co-op, and it just we knew we didn't have enough time to make it fun, because the place it was at was like engineering wise it was far along, but the game didn't have a lot of the features it had now. And so we had to decide, like, do we drop it, or do we make a game that has mediocre competitive play and mediocre single play? And we decided to just focus on making competitive really awesome.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's better to have be good at one thing than be half-assed at many.
Yeah, and it would have been a lot of halves of asses. So
lots of half-asses. Okay.
He said asses.
Hey, this is rated PG-13, so you can say whatever you want.
I know. I'm sorry. My kids are watching at home. I'm sorry, kids.
Oh, geez, that means I gotta be careful what I'm saying. Oh, boom! Oh, we can't fight each other in the slow-mo. Yeah. Oh, so slow.
Oh, it's painful.
Ah, my face. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, this is not good. Oh, I was screwed. It's okay, I'm just letting you come back. That's what I'll say. That's what I'm saying. Whether or not it's true.
So one interesting thing is you can, I think you might have just noticed, you can knock your opponents off of power-ups. So if you can hit them the right angle, you can bounce them into something dangerous by bouncing them against a power-up.
Okay. Oh, that.
I still haven't determined what anything is.
Yeah, what's the
A B B A A B?
What's the thing with what's the power up with the infinity symbol on it?
That gives you infinite dashes.
Oh right, that's the one. Okay. Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!
Oh, I infinitely dashed into the wall.
I do that all the time.
That's how it happens.
Do you ever find when you know, sometimes you go to work on the game and you end up just sitting there playing it?
Yeah, we definitely had a couple days like that, which it helps, and that's, I think, one of the. So some devs I've talked to have called local multiplayer games toxic because they're so fun to make. Like, you just get sucked into the development of them. But then the big problem is just they sell so much less than, or so much fewer copies than a game that's single player or online multiplayer.
So you said this is just basically like kind of testing the Steam waters, so to speak?
Yeah, this was us getting our feet wet, like going out there and saying, look at us, we can make a game. And it's a game we're really proud of. Like, it was built in a short period of time, but there's so much that we really love about it, and in a lot of ways we feel like we accomplished what we set out to do, which is, I mean, it's great to finish a game, but to actually finish a game and to accomplish what you wanted to do with it is a big thing.
And that's one of the hardest challenges of building a game is staying focused on an idea. You can do so many things, but where do you draw the line to keep it reasonable?
Right.
That is actually a recurring theme with a lot of games, where it's like the games that work best are the ones that know when to quit. By that I mean they know when to stop adding features.
Yeah.
Because you caught me between two lasers going in opposite directions. Strategery. Oh, but yeah, I've seen a couple games that are just like, oh yeah, we've added this and this. We want to do this. We did this, and then we did this, and then we did this. I'm like,
yeah, I got skills.
It's lofty.
Yeah.
It's
easy to let yourself feature creep, and I think that's for our next project. That's probably going to be a problem that we actually have to address. For this one, we started simple and we tried to keep it simple. We only added features when we needed them. The last feature we added were the power-ups, and the reason we added them was because we saw that we needed something to let players tell their own story.
So what is the next thing you'll be working on?
So after
if you want us to talk about it, you don't have to.
I'll hint at it. So after we shipped this 2 weeks ago, we spent a week supporting it and continuing our media outreach, and then we spent a week because we really needed to unwind, building a prototype for ourselves, and so that's kind of what we've been playing around with. But I can't say much about it, but it takes a lot of what we learned from the Rust Belt and a lot of what we learned from Gurgamoth, and it's moving away from that direction.
Okay. So that we have about 15 minutes left. Can we just talk a little bit about Rust Belt and sort of the process on how it started, how you ended up at PAX, and then its subsequent sort of just like the discontinuation of it.
Oh, sure. So we left our jobs at a creative agency a year ago from April 7th. So we're at the 11-month mark right now. Mm-hmm. And when we left our jobs, we had a game that we'd already been working on for a while called Space Junk. And Space Junk was this top-down spaceship building game where you could go out, break down derelict ships and asteroids, and then take those raw resources back to base to continue building up your ship. And we wanted to take a step back and reevaluate that because we had been working on it in our spare time. The scope was very big, and we wanted to kind of reimagine what we were doing. And so the first thing we did was we started with this grappling hook mechanic. So we said, this is a spaceship, you can go out and grab an asteroid and then drag it back to your base. And as soon as we had that mechanic prototyped, it felt all of a sudden like a driving game. And we said, well, the new Mad Max movie was coming out. At our previous job, we had pitched a game for the new Mad Max movie, like an advertisement game. And so I had wanted to build a desert driving game really badly. And so we just kind of went with it. We switched from being a spaceship to a tow truck. And instead of dragging asteroids, you were going around this desert wasteland and grabbing big enemies, old derelict trucks and stuff like that. You're grabbing those and using them as weapons by swinging them around with a physics chain. And when we started out, my goal was to spend 4.5 months on the game and get it into PAX. We're in Seattle. PAX Prime, one of the biggest gaming conventions in the world, is in our hometown, and we thought if we could just get this game into PAX, that makes it so that we have a chance to find funding and to find an audience. And in a lot of ways we did. A lot of people were really, really enthusiastic about it, and there were people who did come to us and say, we're interested in helping you finish this game. But by 2 months after PAX, all that stuff had fallen through. All the contacts we had made, none of them actually went all the way through with us. And in large part, a lot of the things people were mentioning was the indie apocalypse that a lot of people have talked about. But really, I think at the point we had the Rust Belt, it wasn't far enough along. We had some major design flaws with it. It wasn't in a good enough place to find funding. And so when we started working on Gurgamoth, we were at this point where it was like, we have 3 months left of funding. We know we can finish this game in those 3 months. We don't know if we can finish the Rust Belt. And so it was a really hard decision because it was like, we were really passionate about the Rust Belt. We thought it was a much bigger chance for us to succeed, but it was also a huge risk because the worst thing that could have happened was after 3 months, we still didn't have any funding for the Rust Belt, and we wouldn't have any games under our belt to show that we knew what we were doing.
Okay.
And so we made the decision to spend those 3 months on Gurgamoth because we knew at the end of it we'd have a really cool thing to show off to the world.
Now, where is this guy? Do we ever release him?
He has been released. Gurgamoth.
Yeah, every time you win, you summon Gurgamoth. The world ends, and then you get a chance to start over.
It should open up a big level.
Yeah, at first I'm just like, we summon Gurgamoth, I mean we're going to be fighting this like massive, scary thing, but...
I don't know, you could kind of spawn those bots in, and then, whoever's winning gets more of the bots.
That's kind of cool.
So when it comes to what you have with the Rust Belt, is there ever a chance that it will make a resurgence, or are you going to consider like selling what you have to another company, or what are your thoughts on it now?
We don't know the future of it. Like we have a decent little game loop there that we could always come back to, but right now we're really looking for other opportunities. Like we want to keep the company going, we want to keep making games, and we don't have enough money to keep going on the Rust Belt.
What do you still need to do with it? If for it to come to full fruition, what would you need to do?
So the big thing with it, because it's a single player game, is content, and content is super expensive. Like building the core systems of the game is not hard. The hard part is like building every level, building all the different zones and enemies, and that's what takes time, and that's what takes money.
Would you ever consider doing a crowdfunding?
So that was actually one of the things we started with. Like we were looking at a bunch of different ways of finding funding, and crowdfunding was one of them. But I don't know if you've been watching Kickstarter this last year, but it's kind of tanked, especially for video games.
What we do with on the Average Giants is that every Sunday we actually do a thing called the Kickstarter Watch.
Oh, cool.
Where we will actually go, I'll look around on Kickstarter to find noteworthy, interesting, or at least well enough done Kickstarters, and I have noticed that it's been a lot harder.
Yeah.
To find a
not
good
just
Kickstarter.
I think the GoFundMes of the world are starting to have an effect on people's, wanting to fund stuff, because you got people
definitely
trying to fund to pay their rent or go on a vacation.
Yeah, there's a few issues with the
I'm just trying to even this playing field.
Oh, I'm sure you are. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Kickstarters that should never have been created in the first place, and a lot of people who, they wanted to do Kickstarter, but it was obvious that either they're rushing it or they had no idea what they were doing in the first place. Now, yeah, it's been of a sticky situation, but I also think that it might have something to do with the economy, because we all know that in order for you to kickstart a game, you have to have a bit more money money to actually do it.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, is that I'll kickstart things. I've kickstarted, I think, about 13 or 14 games so far.
I keep thinking I'm you.
Yeah, I've kickstarted about 13 or 14 games, along with a couple other things. And you know what? I think I've seen maybe about... I think I've played about maybe 5 of them.
Yeah.
I understand that it's not really like... I am getting the chance to you know, I'm not. I do that because I'm trying to get the chance to play a little bit earlier, but really, I'm not. I shouldn't expect much from it because, you know, it's an investment over an actual, like, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And I think that's
Oh, wait.
the big thing is that like when it came out, what, 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, it was something new and something really exciting because like there's all these people coming to Kickstarter and saying, hey, I made this game that you loved, I want to make another, will you help me? And so like everyone's like, yes, here's $3 million. But then over the course of 3 years, like people just get jaded. Because they've already seen not only the same story over and over again, I want to make an indie game, but they've also seen what happens when they fail and their money goes nowhere. And so I think it makes a lot of sense that like Kickstarter is dwindling to some degree.
Some succeed and their money still goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know, they're reaching their goal. The Star Citizens of the world.
The most recent one that has just gone bad is Bear Simulator. I just read that the developer of Bear Simulator has basically said, well, you get what you get now because I'm not making anything else because all the bad press. Because basically PewDiePie wanted his money back and gave it a bad review. And even though it does have a 78% on Steam, the fact of the matter is that it started as a Kickstarter, made $100,000, and now people are going, you know, is this all we're getting? So unfortunately, you not only have to deal now with, even if your stuff gets, you know, backed, it's a matter of if you make a good enough product for it to be worth your customers' time.
Right. Oh man, now I'm reading about this. Yeah, that's brutal. $100,000 Kickstarter. Whew.
Yeah.
So are you getting any? I mean, it's pretty much a given. No matter what you release into the public, you're going to get some hate mail. Has there been anything that you've gotten that stands out as especially comical?
No, actually, on Steam we only have positive reviews of the game right now.
Yeah, I checked that out. They're all you're 20-0 right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah. So the press has been a little bit more critical of the game, and I think it's because like it's a little bit light on content, and compared to something like Towerfall, the mechanics are very simple. But we knew that was going to happen just because it is like a very simple and straightforward game. So no, we haven't really gotten anything unexpected. And I'm almost... Oh, so actually, no, that's not true. There was one YouTube comment. There was a very critical YouTube video, and one of the commenters on the video said... Oh, I have to pull this up because the quote... I can't ruin the quote. I'm old, and one of my first games was Pong, and Pong looks a lot better than this game.
Okay.
No, it's such a fantastic quote.
Okay.
That's actually on our Steam page now. It's my favorite thing I've ever had anyone say about one of my games.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, die, you sucker!
Damn it. I guess lastly, before we give it call it a night. So there, words, soundtrack. Is there a soundtrack available?
Not quite. So actually, the person who provided the music for us is someone we found on SoundCloud when we were doing the game jam, and I wrote to him and I said, "Hey, can we use your music for our game? Like, how much would you like to license for?" And he said, "I've been trying to make music for games for a long time. You can have it. Like, it's open source music or royalty-free music." And so he ended up just providing us the soundtrack of his existing music library, and like it just worked out. Like,
Do you have a link to it, perhaps?
Yeah, I can.
So we can, thank him for making such lovely and free music for your game.
Yeah.
Which I've been sifting through the quagmire that is the world of Creative Commons royalty-free commercial use music. It's there's lots there, but you got to really sift through it to find some goods.
Oh yeah, there's good stuff, but there's a lot of really weird stuff too.
Or you'll get just the perfect feeling, and then some strange vocal will kick in, and you'll be like, no.
He was really good about not only like giving us music, but also like tweaking it to match our needs, like making the music loop. Like there was one song that had some like sirens in it, and it just didn't fit the Lovecraftian cultist theme, so he ended up taking that out for us.
Okay, so he modified it. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool.
I'll link that in the chat.
Yeah, link your Steam the Steam store page too,
Okay.
just so that people who are watching can, and also once this goes on YouTube, we'll make sure to have all that available.
Cool. Thank you.
Because we want, we try to, make it so that every game that we show has its, spotlight where it should be. So we're just gonna, we'll probably just call this one.
Yeah, we're out of time for this segment.
Yeah, we're out of time for here. So thank you very much for joining us today. It was great playing the game, great talking to you. And if you do have any new updates for the game, or if you want to ever show off your new game in the making, just let us know, because we'd love to have you back.
Oh, I'd love to be back. And our next game will probably have online multiplayer, so it would be, I think, even easier for you to bring a bunch of people together to play it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
if you like to get trolled, invite the viewers to jump in.
Oh, that's what we do. I have a community night, and if we have a game that's good for the community, we'll try to get it on. But anyways, yeah, thank you very much, and we will talk to you later.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Have a good night.
And we're gonna put up the BRB screen again, and
You're right back.
Yeah, come back in a moment to get everything going with the next developer. So be right back in a minute. All right, we are back. As I forget to unmute the microphone. And now we're going to be playing some Blood Alloy, so I'm just going to get Frank into the call with us. And we will start playing some Blood Alloy. Call Skype. Can only receive instant messengers. Uh-oh. Skype always does this. Try again.
It's got many deficiencies, this Skype.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, we'll try 14 different ways of getting a hold of them.
Whenever I try to stream my game on Skype, I literally lose 50 frames a second. The minute Skype is trying to...
Oh, he's trying to call me, so I'll try that one. No, it's ringing again. There we go.
Hello?
Hello? No, I don't want my... No, I don't... Hold on, I'm trying to get the call back. We might have to switch.
We're having some technical difficulties.
It's alright, this happens.
And you're on the cutting edge.
And of course now my my tablet's deciding that it wants to talk to me. Yeah, we're just gonna listen to the awesome music associated with Blood Alloy. Let's get the game showing first of all. Look at this. My high score is 1,800 points, which is not good.
Right.
I played it.
Is this a single player game?
It is a single player game. It is a twin stick. Yeah, twin stick side scroller shooter. Crazy gameplay. It mixes kind of like parkour as well.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna give them a little bit extra longer once we.
No worries. Well, we can check the credits here.
Let's look at everything first while we're at it.
Poke around.
Oh, press C to view credits.
Whoa. Well, that's a good team.
Lots of art, lots of music, lots of thanks. Yeah, it's a very clean game. We first talked to Frank, at least a year ago. It's been a while. This game has seen quite the update in that time, which is good. It's always good. Let's see if we can get him back.
Come on, Frank.
Yeah, the wonderful world about doing a live show is that it doesn't always work out completely right immediately, so whatever. Been waiting for this one to come up, just installed it. Cool.
Excellent.
Alright, let's call.
Yo.
Hello!
Hey, fellas. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Yourself?
I'm doing okay. My wife is 9.5 months pregnant, so...
I know that battle.
That seems to be a common theme right now.
You might have to run out at any minute. We'll understand if all of a sudden you disappear and there's a spinning microphone.
Just, oh my god! No, yeah, people are fucking growing up, and it's like, you know, theoretically, I own a company, and my wife is pregnant, and like, this is as adulty as you get, but I don't feel like an adult. Like,
No,
you know, like
in
our
fact...
our parents had owned property, you know, when they were this age. Like, what the fuck, you know?
We'll maintain our childhood forever so long as we're working on video games.
Yeah, and honestly, like
Yeah.
my buddy, I'm in my early 30s. I don't know what you are.
I turned 30 last year, so yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I'm turning 32 this year.
Is this your first kid?
Yep. Boy.
So excellent.
Here's
Okay,
I mean,
so I'm
I-
using mouse and keyboard.
Oh, you're playing? Okay. I guess I should log into the channel so I can see the TF.
It just drops you right in there.
No, that was my fault. It actually starts with a tutorial, but I decided that I wanted to use one
There's
thing
that
over
sound
another.
down on here if you could.
Alright, let's see. Did you guys tweet at me? No, you didn't. How am I supposed to retweet you? Come on.
I didn't tweet anybody. It's...
Oh, he didn't tweet. I was noticing that. I was getting ready to retweet before the show.
Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll do some tweeting, okay? We'll do
Okay,
some
Indie
tweeting.
Game Showcase, Blood Alloy. Alright. I can retweet this. I'll click a favorite because you guys are okay, and I'm gonna go into your Twitch channel, and I'm gonna eat some pecan pie because pecan pie is the best pie.
Let's see. What we
Don't
got
forget
here.
to chew very noisily.
Yeah. Buh, no.
So how long you been working on this game? He said you were on the show about a year ago.
Fucking 3 years, man.
No.
Yeah.
I'm right up with you. That's it's a grind, isn't it?
Yeah, because like what's it? I started maybe January 2013. It really started to become its own product around 4 or 5 months in, and then right before I married my wife, literally right around the day of the wedding, that's when our Kickstarter wrapped up. We had a $50,000 goal.
Oh wow!
We pitched it as a Metroidvania. In the first week, we got $15,000, which is great. It was like, oh, great momentum. Then 2 things happened. One of which I could have foreseen, and I should have. The other, no one could have foreseen. First thing was Grand Theft Auto 5 launching. That was dumb. I should have seen that coming. Second thing was Hyper Light Drifter's Kickstarter launching, which no one saw coming. And like within 6 hours of their campaign launching, I got 20 emails saying, "Oh, so and so Blacker withdrew their pledge." I was like, "No, why?" And I emailed them. I was like, "Oh, sorry, money's tight, and I'm gonna back this other project instead." And I was like, "What is this other?" And I clicked on it, and I look at the trailer, and my small pit of despair forms in my stomach, and then I click the back this project button because I'm just like, "Oh, it looks so good." So yeah, they're launching pretty soon too, but they had like more than $500,000 in funding.
Yeah, jeez. It's crazy how things can just randomly happen like that. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, so there you go. Yeah, now click when you're boosting. Are you mouse keyboarding?
I'm mouse keyboarding because I couldn't figure out how to actually.
Okay. So boost for a second. Boost for a second with the shift, and then after like a second boosting, while you're still boosting, then click. There you go. You can do either right click or left click.
I remember when Average was playing this, and he was showing us all how to get it done. Mm-hmm. So this is.
So next, so you're doing that super big hyperwave. Instead of doing it, that means you're right clicking. Do left click next time. So do the boost for a second, like boost up the wall.
Oh, jeez. Wow, there's a lot going on.
Don't worry, I'm planning on dying anyway.
Do that over and over again.
So I guess we should actually ask you questions about this game. So give us a synopsis on what we're watching right now.
So Blood Alloy is a pixel art, obviously pixel art, cyberpunk score chaser where you play as crazy robo lady who's outfitted with all the augmentations you can load onto a person and still call it a person. She's got a sweet jetpack, guns, and swords, and you are just trying to stylishly kill as many robots as possible while Magic Sword and Perturbator and Dan Terminus and GOST from the Hotline Miami soundtrack while those guys play your drums.
Yeah.
So hold on, okay. So hold on, Chip. Now when you see that little reticle fill up with a circle, click. There you go. See that shit home.
Yeah, I don't like I said before. Based on how bad I am with many games, I don't plan on doing too well today. So I'll be passing over the.
If you can get that, you're doing okay. Okay, so now Q, E, or F, all of those are dodge. You can do ground dodge, or you can do a mid-air dodge.
Yeah, the music is still kind of loud. I agree.
Okay, I'll adjust that in a moment.
Oh, and Batman cereal. All right. I tried the Minions. It was terrible.
Wait, Batman Minions or like
no,
like
there's Batman cereal, Superman cereal, and Minions cereal.
Oh god, that just sounds terrible. Do you remember Ninja Turtle cereal when we were kids?
Oh, briefly, yeah.
Yeah, they had like nets. That was their justification for basically the checks shapes. They were like nets because Ninja Turtles use nets for some reason. And they had like a packet of ooze, green ooze that you could like it was basically just colored honey that you could put over your cereal. 90s were a good era, man.
Except for games where you had like JLN or LJN doing the Nintendo games for all the movies.
Oh yeah.
And they always made it so it gave you like bad excuses for what you know, what they thought was going to be a part of the movie or what they could do that had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah. Man, you are just a clicky motherfucker.
Yes, I am. I am a crazy clicker here.
I'm having trouble watching what's going on. See, now that's more like his style.
Game over. Hey, I doubled my best score so far. So
Strawberry chocolate weird justice. Justice.
okay, so what is the inspiration behind this?
So I'm a huge Platinum's Games fan. I fucking love Vanquish, and I was like, okay, this rocket sliding is fucking awesome. And then, did you ever play Abuse? It's a PC game from way back in the day, made by Crack.com. And I think it's literally one of the first games to ever use the WASD plus mouse control. And Abuse had basically the same type of aiming style where you have 360-degree aiming and a 2D side-scroller where aiming is done with a mouse and you just run left and right, and the sprites of the main character are segmented between legs and torso. Abuse is fucking awesome. It's very dark and 3D and atmospheric.
I clicked out of the game. Sorry. Hold on a second. Keep going.
No, it's alright. And I always wanted. But the thing with Abuse is that it was very 90s era style of level design, where every level was like a level, and then you collect points, and you have like big hearts that you collect for health, which it was just like kind of dissonant. It was like it didn't. There's so much in terms of like atmosphere and sound design that the game does right, and then you're just playing it, and then you see like a big glowing red heart, and you're like, oh, it's a game. I'm not like immersed in this world anymore. So the idea was I wanted to have something like that, but like make a Metroidvania out of it, because like what I wanted Abuse to be was I wanted a cohesive world with like exploration and like boss battles, and Abuse just had like a bunch of levels. It was really fun, but it was just like, oh, I beat level 1, now I'm going on to level 2, etc, etc, etc. So the idea with Blood Alley was like I wanted to make like use that kind of dual sprite driven 360-degree aiming type of gameplay, crack it out with Vanquish and jetpacks, and then I played Metal Gear Rising. You guys play that game?
I never got a chance to.
You're a terrible person.
Yes, I know.
You should just give up on everything.
I have. That's why I'm doing this.
There's a moment in Metal Gear Rising where Raiden is at the top of a building, and he just wants to jump down to the ground. And so what he does is, rather than just jump off the building and fall to the ground all cool style, is he jams his sword in the wall and just kind of rides it down as his sword just goes all the way down to the ground. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I want to make a game where that's the main mechanic. So that you can see that's what she's doing. She plunges her sword into the wall and she flares her jetpack, and that's how you go like super fast and shit. So there's that. There's a little bit of Zone of the Enders in there. You know, that's the boost. The boost homing seekers. That's inspired from Zone of the Enders. And really, they should just give Platinum Games Zone of the Enders 3 so they can make that, because I would be so happy about that. And yeah, so so what we wanted to do was make this into a Metroidvania. That was our plan with the Kickstarter. Our Kickstarter obviously didn't succeed, but we had enough initial momentum that we were like, we have something here. We have enough fans. We should make this, like, we should continue this. We should not give up on this. And so we then the next like year of development was just really looking at everything that we could improve, rebuilding the game from the ground up. And so what we did is, like, if there's one thing we can do is I can work on the combat. I can build the combat aspect of the game. And if we get that out to a releasable product, then hey, then we can release something, and if people buy it and support this combat thing, be like, hey, imagine this, but like in a story-based Metroidvania. Do you want that? Then buy this game and support us, and we can make that, because fuck Kickstarter at this point. It's like there's still some great projects on Kickstarter, but there have been enough like hilariously awful failures and like people like giving up on their projects, whatever, that I feel like there's some real Kickstarter fatigue. And I feel fatigued with Kickstarter, so.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that for our last day.
Yeah, there possibly there's something needs to be done about Kickstarter. Better guidelines or better I don't know, punishment for those that exploit it. But
Right. I mean, you've had fucking potato salad on Kickstarter, which is like, okay, great.
Hey, that guy threw a big party, man. he literally threw a party with that money and had a lot of people come out and have that potato salad with it.
I also heard that he was also donating like money to like homeless shelters, which is good for him. But that's still ridiculous.
I wanted to give him money just because it was the best thing I'd ever seen on Kickstarter.
You and like, I don't know, like 5,000 or 6,000 other people. That's all you need.
Yeah, you need to either have a really good idea of what you're going to do and something that could potentially be, you know, maybe even revolutionary for the area that you're in, or you're just completely insane and people want to back you and your insanity.
Yeah,
you gotta make it look good enough, man. Most people,
even that can be iffy because you know those the Skullgirls people. They just finished their Indiegogo campaign with Indivisible. They made a fucking hour-long playable RPG demo, and people were like, oh, you know, there were people with so many misconceptions about it. They were like, oh, they're a successful dev, they can just fund it themselves, or like they played the demo and they were like, oh, just wait for the full game to come out. And you're just like, dude, no, like those developers, as successful as they are, they worked unpaid, like sleepless for like 4 or 5 months to make that demo. Like, if that game doesn't get funded, it's never gonna get funded. It's never, like, there's just so many misconceptions people have, even with successful Kickstarters. Like,
there's a new crowdfunding campaign for something that shouldn't be doing it, based on their notoriety. Harmonix is trying to crowdfund, not Guitar Hero, but Rock Band 4 for PC. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's horrible.
So, like...
Now crowdfunding for Grand Theft Auto 6.
So I can't say too much of that. Keep in mind, one, I used to work at Harmonix, and my wife still works at Harmonix.
Oh, geez, okay, I retract my statements.
No. You're free to have your stuff. There is... Jesso, is there anything I shouldn't say?
You can say... Oh, Jessica.
He's asking the boss.
Okay.
They're talking like, oh my god, Harmonix is crowdfunding for Rock Band 4.
I just heard about it on whatever sites I saw it on.
I mean, the only thing I say is that there is a conception that, like, yeah, if Grand Theft Auto if Rockstar wanted to publish Grand Theft Auto on, I don't know, fucking Tiger Electronics handhelds, like that would be
rad, actually.
Or there is, I think, a viable use for Kickstarter in that it's testing the waters. Like, if that Kickstarter didn't succeed, then that is a very useful metric for the indication that that it's not worth it exerting the effort to port to a new system. However, and I say this because I'm buzzed with a couple of the Harmonix community people, is that they do legitimately get a lot of requests by PC gamers saying like, oh, I want this game on PC. I don't want to buy a 360. You know, I have like Steam machines and I have a computer PC set up in my living room. I just want to play I want to play Rock Band, but I don't want to buy a console for it. And so that was the idea. So if it doesn't succeed, it's like, oh, then that market isn't there, and we shouldn't develop the game for that market. If the market is there, then hey, then that's like a really good thing to assess. So, like, it's a different use of Kickstarter, but I like personally, I think that use is valid. Like if Rockstar Kickstarted Grand Theft Auto, we know that would be ridiculous because it's fucking Rockstar and they spend literally like millions of dollars just putting ads up on Times Square. Harmonix is like despite the fact that Harmonix is like, they're like, oh, they signed tracks from fucking famous musicians. It's not like Harmonix and Rockstar are very different entities in terms of the financial scale. So there is that difference. Not all AAA developers are like have the same amount of money to throw around as you might think. So like if you think that they shouldn't be doing that, then hey, don't back it, and that will let like the market speak for itself. Yeah, but it's quite useful for that red arrow, by the way. Once you get to a 10x multiplier, that red arrow points out a very specific enemy, and if you kill that enemy, you rescue a dude, and that dude gives you health. Yay!
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good to know. That's good. I'm just trying to kill everything and hopefully not die in the process.
Yeah, you're a very clicky heavy person.
Yeah, I'm a twitchy player of games. Like, are you familiar with Disco Dodgeball?
No, Disco Dodgeball.
Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Made by Eric Asmussen. That guy, yeah, we've been talking to that guy since sort of it was in its early stages, and yeah, it's a crazy game where you're a robot that's shaped like an exclamation mark, and you're playing dodgeball with other robots.
Is there a Heather Graham robot from like from Boogie Nights?
No, unfortunately, the characters are all that you can choose your mustaches.
Okay, robots with mustaches.
Yeah, robots with mustaches.
So hit Q, E, or F, and that does a dodge. And if you dodge through an enemy attack, you might see some slow motion. Pay attention to the slow motion. If you see a white flash, click either the attack buttons, and then something cool might happen.
I even went through the tutorial.
Yeah. The game's a lot. It's a lot of it. It's like, and that's kind of the like my dad bought the game on Steam. I'm like, okay, thanks, Dad. And then he was like, Frank, I think you should really slow down the game for old users like me. I'm like, Dad, I love you. You realize you are in no way near the target demographic. Like,
yep.
If the game is too fast for you, I will take that as like a compliment.
That's perfect. Yeah, it's the right speed.
But yeah, like even for people like you, you know, it's it's not an easy game. There is a lot to learn with the combat system, and part of that was intentional. Just because I'm an asshole, I'm like, fuck you, get better.
No, this is one of those games where I'm playing, and while I'm doing everything I'm doing and dying in the process, I'm okay with it. Because
good.
Yeah, because there's a very distinct difference between a rage game and a challenging game. A challenging game is a game that is really hard, but you want to keep playing because you know that you can get better at it. A rage game is just there to give you the middle finger and
You'll
say,
never get through this.
Yeah, give you the middle finger and laugh at you as you fail.
Would you say that's I Want to Be the Guy?
I hate that game. I played...
The guy who made that game is super, super nice, but yeah, I would never play that game.
Oh, I'm sure he is. And the game, like, to make a game like that requires a lot of work and probably trial and error to get it like that.
I understand what you're saying. I am totally with you in that you can hate somebody's work but still like somebody as a person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know that you are not indicting him as a human being or as a developer.
It's like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, I friggin' hate that guy, but I can't not like Mission Impossible.
Right? There you go.
Call me weird, I've never even seen one of them.
The first one is completely one of the most confusing movies you'll ever watch.
I started and I just thought, no.
But then after that, they realized, they're like, yeah, they changed directors, and now it's fun. It's a very fun...
Wasn't there a new one out, like, relatively recently?
Yeah.
I heard that one wasn't bad.
Rogue Nation or something like that. I've seen all of them, and I think the most fun was when they did Ghost Protocol, because the fact that I think Tom Cruise finally realized that he's a joke. So
yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tom
he stopped
Cruise.
taking himself completely seriously. And once he realized that he can't take himself seriously, he needs that people actually start liking him a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's the important part is. don't take yourself seriously if you're a douchebag, and then people might actually start giving you some relaxation on it. Or just be a nice guy from the beginning. That works too.
What's the goal here? What are we trying to get to? Is this just endless wave after wave?
Yep, it's just endless ways, survive as you can, you know, kind of loot browsers or Geometry Wars style. So if you stand still, you can charge up your gun Mega Man style, just, you know, click and hold, and that eventually comes out to be a hyper laser. Man, your guy, what kind of computer are you rigging on? This is like the most flawless fucking frame rate I've ever seen my game run on.
This is an i7 3770K, 16 gigs RAM, and
That
a GTX 970.
You used a lot of numbers in that.
Sorry, it's a quad core hyperthread with 16 gigs RAM and a GeForce 970.
Does it have like liquid cooling and cool shit like that?
Nope. If I opened up my computer, you would just be like, huh, okay. Like, it's funny because it still runs the stock fan, which is one of the most boring one of the most boring looking heat sinks and fans you'll ever see in a computer. It has no flashy lights. But it does the trick. I mean, my CPU's running it at about, I don't know, between 55 and 70% right now, which is just fine. I think I need to clean it out though. But yeah, it's this is This is pretty powerful. I went to the computer tech and asked them, like, so is it worth me buying a next gen i7s? Like, they're already up to the 6th gen i7. I'm only on 3rd gen, so I was like, is it worth me upgrading? They're like, no, you'd probably just be fine with getting a new hard drive.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have never built my own PC, but hey, maybe this year's the year I do it.
Building a PC is fun, and also the most horrifying thing you'll ever do.
Right? Like, I just read articles about, like, oh, be sure to apply the thermal paste this way, but not too much that way, because if you, like, too much this way, you'll fuck it up, too much the other way, you'll fuck it up, and, like, your computer will be bricked and it'll be awful. I'll be like, oh, man, thermal paste sounds like a bitch.
Oh, you don't even have to do that. Like, most of cooling fans and stuff for a CPU are come pre thermal pasted. So you don't even have to worry about that.
That's a relief.
You should see mine. Mine's just a nightmare. I got 4 rads in my computer. Unnecessarily, of course.
I'm pretty sure that's indicative of your value as a human being.
Like, yeah, I built my computer, and I've been upgrading it ever since, and, you know, it's pretty easy. The thing that scares me the most is when I first turn it on and realize that it's not starting, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I just do? Did I plug in the wrong thing? I actually did that. The first time I plugged it in, or turned it on, I went, what did I just do? It's not starting. Then I realized that I plugged the wrong power supply into the wrong thing. Lucky for me that these computer doohickeys are basically idiot-proof now. So instead of it, you know, blowing up everything that I just bought, it actually
They just power off or something.
it just doesn't start.
Yeah, that's relief. I remember one of the it was like in 8th grade, you know, during one of our tech shop classes, our teacher brought in a robotic arm, and that you could, like, plug into the computer and, like, to program, like, limited instructions to it. I was like, oh, sweet. And I accidentally took what did I do? I took the computer power plug, and instead of plugging it into instead of taking a data plug from the computer to the robotic arm, I took a power plug, and I was like, this doesn't quite fit in there. Why is it? I jiggled this little plug around, and then the arm started billowing smoke, and I was like, oh shit, and I had to run across the classroom, and he was like, the teacher was engaged in a conversation with another teacher, and I was like, no, I know,
Pull the plug quickly.
Fire, look, smoke, and he's like, what do you want? I was like,
Johnny,
the thing
up
is
the arm.
smoke. And he's like, oh shit, and he, like, ran over and, like, got the fire extinguisher, threw it in the sink, and just blasted it. But it was just like a type of thing where, like, you guys watch the IT Crowd?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like when Moss is like has the fire and he's just typing out the email, be like,
Oh yeah, because
how do I alert her? Because he's so polite and he's like,
Yeah.
oh no, I want to write this email again, and that's why I was like, how do I politely tell my teacher that there's a fire going on?
Yeah, but then he tries to set up or use the fire extinguisher, and the fire extinguisher sets on fire too. He's like, "Oh, it's made in Britain." Oh, okay. I get it.
I'll just set this down with the other fire.
Yeah. Dear sir or madam, help.
Yeah. That show is great, and they need to put more of it on Netflix.
Yeah. I've watched a bunch of episodes, and I'm just like, wow, this is so awkward but so funny.
No, it's amazing. The first episodes are pretty rough, but like after like halfway through season 1, they really hit their stride, and oh man, it's so good.
Well, like where he's at his first date, and he thinks there's like shit on his face when
Oh yeah.
he gets shit on his forehead.
Yeah, it's just chocolate pudding. Yeah, that was a good episode.
How many
So you're
total
getting-
kinds
you're
of
getting
enemies do we have in here?
7 or 8, including a boss that I predict will be a long time before you see, because he doesn't appear until you get to 10,000.
You consider I made it to 2,700 now, or 2,400?
Yeah, well, you're getting better. That's always rewarding to see.
Now, I will give an excuse, or I'll try to give an excuse for why I'm not good at games, is because I left a bad marriage, and it all involved, like, I have to basically learn how to play video games again.
Uh-oh.
Oops, I just
You had
clicked
one
out.
of those, eh? You had a burner.
How did
I
you
had a wife
explain
that,
to me the connection?
Okay, so my wife was didn't like me doing anything when she was around. So basically, what ended up happening was that when she was around, that's when I play games. When I wanted to actually do something that I wanted to do, she had to be gone from the house, which involved playing games. So all I could do was play games that took very, very short amounts of time.
Right.
And I couldn't, so like games that I could just play in spurts and whatever, or they were easy
Yeah, this
to
is
pick up.
is
And
not healthy relationship material.
yeah, so it'll be coming up on a year on April 20th.
Yeah.
Important when
That
you're
I've been
playing
gone.
games and building games that you have a supportive wife.
But yeah, there was the support was one-sided, and basically it was I was able to do what I want and be myself for 6 hours a week.
Right. Yeah, that's no good. My little brother dated this girl who she was just the nicest human being on the planet, but her opinion was that games were a horrible waste of time. And my little brother, like, she ran. That was her thing. And once she ran a marathon, and my little brother biked the marathon alongside her, like, cheering her on the whole way. But for her, like, please, can we just like play some, like, I don't know, Super Mario Galaxy for like 20 minutes? Like, she would like last 5 minutes and be like, no, I can't do this. And it's like, dude,
He would ride
not...
the whole marathon with her.
Yeah.
Just 5 damn minutes.
Well, that actually is kind of how it was with me. I went to Costa Rica with her, took videos of the group and doing their yoga training and hula hoop training.
Oh yeah.
I even actually did some of the yoga and I never want to do yoga again. But yeah, it was too much to ask for her to, join in with me and have some fun with what I was doing.
Like, it's not
Come on, honey,
necessary.
yoga flame.
Come on, get up there.
It's not necessary to have a relationship with someone who like shares your hobbies perfectly, because trust me, I dated a girl when I worked at Harmonix. I dated a girl in the same company. That was dumb. Don't ever do that. But I was like, oh my god, girl who plays video games is perfect and it's amazing. And it's like, no, it's not. It is totally like amazing and great to have someone who has completely different interests than you. The only baseline is you just have to have a baseline of like mutual respect and like indulging the other person. Like, hey, yeah, I'll play like, this 2-player game with you or something. Or like I'll like inquire politely as to like how your adventures in like Fallout Wasteland are going, something like that, And then like we'll talk about shitty person at yoga who farts all the time. Like, it's fine. It's just called being adult.
Yeah. No, with me, it was basically, I'd ask her how she was doing, and she could tell me, well, the other problem was that she worked from our basement, so she was always home. Mm-hmm. So whenever I asked her how her day was, she's like, long. Okay. Well, this is how my day was. And then, if I started talking about games or cars, you just get that sort of like glazed over look, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop talking then.
Those what was it? I think they said like the biggest predictor of success in a relationship is how one party reacts to the other party's good news. Because there are 3 ways to like react to good news. Like you can be like, oh, I got a promotion. Be like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Tell me about it. Tell me exactly what happened.
I got a promotion.
Yeah, right. Well, like like I won like $8 on a scratch ticket. Oh, sweet. Tell me, what are you gonna do with money? Like taking an active interest. The next tier is like. Is like this is like your relationship is barely passing. It's like, oh, that's cool. And you're like,
I don't know. Sometimes it can work out different. Like my wife, she has no problem with me building or playing games, but she doesn't really pay attention to it, and I have no desire to pay attention to her MTV shows either.
I mean, not with respect to hobbies, with anything. If you got like a promotion at work and you was like, yeah, honey, I got a promotion, and she was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. That would be kind of like a little bit of deflator. And then relationship doom is like you have some good news and you want to share it with your partner, and they're like, oh, you got a promotion at work, you're going to be working all the time now. I'm never going to get to see you. You're like, oh, I wanted to celebrate, but you're pooping on this. This is awful. So, like, yeah, being able to, like, be happy for your partner when they're happy about something is, like, totally incredibly important.
Damn it, woman, quit being so evil or I'm going to put you in my game.
Yeah, I always came up with a thing where it's like there's a person can acknowledge, they can accept, and then they can support. Acknowledging is the bare minimum, where it's like, yeah, you do it, so what? Accepting is, you know what, you do it, I don't understand it, but you do it.
Right.
Support is when they want to push you forward to do it, they want to help you if they can. Yeah. They want to be that person.
Relationship advice with the average giant.
Yeah, I know. We're at that point where it's this is the Indiegame showcase and relationship hotline.
Yeah. I mean, call in and tell us how your conflict with video games and your wife.
Well, like the thing is like, and this is the funny thing where it's like this is just part of like fucking being adult. And the thing is you as a teenager, and then when you're in the 20s, you're like, oh man, like. Adults have it figured out. That's kind of what you assume. But as you and I, like, we get into our 30s, we're like, holy shit, you have men and women in their 40s, 50s, 60s who have no fucking clue, but these people are in power. They're able to lead companies and draw bad pages, but they're really just shitty.
This whole fucking world is flying by the seat of its pants.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that kind of like puts that's some serious shit to chew on, because like, dude, like a lot of very basic human interaction is just be fucking nice, but some people can't even get that far.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Anyway, so you're still doing the shooting. When have you guys traded controllers yet? Are you?
I tried it for a few seconds, and
then he caused it
I closed it down. I almost shut the whole stream right off.
Clicked out of the channel. So
I'm not used to this double screen. I got one giant 46-inch screen.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that I have dual 32-inch monitors right now too. So
shit.
I made sure that I'm passionate about doing this stuff, plus my YouTube channel, plus games and stuff like that. So I made sure to have everything that I need and not have to upgrade for a little while. So I have what is it?
In theory, I'm future-proof.
3840 by 1080 display on 32-inch monitors. So it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm not bragging or anything, I'm just saying.
So you got plans for this game in the future?
We'll have to see how it does, but right now we're primarily like bug fixing like crazy, getting in some optimization stuff. You know, the thing that, you know, me and anyone else who makes games is like, oh, you launch a game, now you get to learn how there exist all these fucking peripherals that you don't own that you now have to get in support for like the last minute. People are like, oh yeah, my wireless like controller, my wireless adapter for my 360, wireless adapter for my Xbox One pad, like wireless adapter for this.
Oh, goody.
What about my wireless?
Can't wait.
Yeah, and we're just like, oh my god. You know, because you mentioned, you know, 4K displays. I'm like, oh shit, I need to fucking make sure the game looks okay on 4K because I've only tested
it's
it on.
pixel art. Come on, if somebody is complaining that pixel art looks pixely on a 4K display.
Some people do, man. Some people are like, you know, there was like legitimate like Kotaku Polygon Destructoid outcry when people were like, oh, what's the resolution of Hyper Light Drifter? And the guy was like, I don't know what he said. He said something like 264 by 7 something. He's like, what? How can you say that's the resolution? He's like, yes, that is the resolution in pixels. It is a pixel perfect game. I don't understand what there is to get like mad about, but people like want to hear an answer like, oh, you know, 920 by 1080p, whatever. It's like, dude, it's pixel art. But yeah, some people are mad silly.
Yeah, so I'm running yours in 19. Oh fuck! I just. You're playing yours in 1920 by 1080 resolution, with fantastic display.
Yeah, like I don't think that the graphic options will change anything for this game. I think that's mostly for 3D games where they do like draw distance and texture,
material quality, effect quality.
Exactly. I don't think we take any advantage of that. So if it makes you feel better, you can put it in fantastic.
But is there going to be Oculus Rift support? Because I want to see this in 3D.
The intention is actually to make a dating simulator out of this. You have to date various robots, and you know you're like you have to. There's a big dialogue tree, and if you select the wrong choice, you just accidentally plunge your sword into the robot and kill it. You're like, oh damn it, I killed you again.
Can I swipe left for a new enemy?
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play this unless there is lots of anime boobs.
Yeah, this is the hill you want to die on. Having a 13-year-old character in your anime game having a zipper on her panties. This is the hashtag censorship issue.
Yeah, come on, you know she's 16. It's legal in Japan.
Yes, that's the highly. Oh, this is a dangerous pathway to go down. My dad lived in Japan for 6 years. And I'm Korean. I'm half Korean. I was born in Busan, and so like my opinion of Japan is like both informed and colored. You can't ever say it's not colored because Japan and Korea just have like this innate rivalry, kind of like, you know, France and Germany and Palestine and Israel.
Oh, it's that bad, huh?
I don't know if it. Well, I don't know how it is recently, but there still definitely is tension. Like in the turn of the century in the late 1800s and way up until even obviously World War II, but even like a couple decades after World War II, Japan has done some pretty heinous shit to people who are ethnically Korean, as if that's a thing. I mean, I know it's a thing, but ethnically Korean but of Japanese citizenship. Like if you like had proven Korean descent, even though you were born in Japan, raised in Japan, only spoke Japanese, they denied you the right to vote until relatively recently. And so like there's some cultural conflict there, and that exhibits itself to this day with like I think like territory disputes over like fishing islands and shit like that. But yeah, it's tough. Like I really want to go to Japan. I want to visit there. I just want to hang out. But like, it's tough because I really also want to learn Japanese so I can like play games that never get localized. But with respect to both language ease, Korean is just so much easier as a language to learn, and it just makes sense for me culturally. But I'm like, I don't really care about Korean culture except for Korean food, which I love, but I don't really care about K-pop. I don't really care about Gangnam Style.
Driving Kim Jong-un.
You don't care about Psy? Oh,
you see that?
He's a national treasure.
South Korea's got giant loudspeakers on the border with North Korea blasting K-pop 24/7.
Yep.
terrible.
North Korea is kind of a fucked up place. Kind of.
You wonder why he's crazy.
Yeah, I've watched those documentaries. They're pretty entertaining.
Some of the entertaining. I don't know if it's the right word. It's like holy shit, the human like nightmare that is the nation of North Korea and what they do to their people. But yeah. Anyway, we've gone far down the Asian politics sphere.
Jeez, we've been all over the place. Politics, relationship advice.
Well, this is what we're trying to do. This is more than just we actually have people that just listen to this.
We're showcasing a lifestyle here, people.
Yeah. Oh, which one of you guys likes Robotech / Macross?
I used to watch. I watched Macross Plus when I was a kid. I remember actually playing the side-scrolling shooter of Macross Plus.
They were all not as good as I wanted them to be. I'm like, oh yes, a Macross game. I'm like, oh, it's just a.
Well, I thought the funniest part about the Macross Plus, the shmup, was the fact that it was so difficult. They actually gave you cheats as an option screen.
Oh, really?
Like, they actually made it so that you could have unlimited lives right at the beginning without even unlocking anything. Because that's how hard the game was.
So harder or not as hard as Ikaruga?
Okay, so Ikaruga is its own type of ridiculous.
I've never gotten past level 2 in Ikaruga.
I think I made it to level 4.
Wow, that's like almost the whole game.
Is it? Okay, maybe not. Now I'm confused. Actually, it's kind of funny.
As far as I know, I think there are only 5 levels in Ikaruga.
I thought it was 6.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. I think I should buy it on Steam.
So you can just cry over and over.
Yeah, so I can play it and just show people. Like, people actually love how much I rage at games. Like, I'm what you call a rage game aficionado, where I actually like. I get stressed out because afterwards it like releases some form of endorphins. Right. So you're super pissed off at a game, but afterwards you're just like,
that was a good release.
Yeah. So, gets rid of the tension of the day.
So on this subject, literally just last night I started Bloodborne. Oh. This whole time I'd never played Bloodborne yet, because I played Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1 and 2, but I never got around to Bloodborne, and I started last night. I'm like, oh shit, this is hard in a totally different way, and I really like it. Are you guys fans of the Soul series?
I've watched, and I think that's all I can do is watch.
I rarely actually play games myself. A few seem to grab me, and then they do for hundreds and hundreds of hours.
What's a game that's done so recently?
Empyrean Galactic Survival.
Is that like a space game, or is that more like
it's you got to survive on planets and in space, and you can build, you harvest the resources. It's a pretty fun game.
So it's No Man's Sky before No Man's Sky.
Yeah, there's something about it. It doesn't look that great, and for all intents and purposes, most people would look at it and go, I've seen better, but it really grabbed me. My brother and I, we bought a server. We mess around a bit.
There you go. Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm really starting to miss. And when you're in college, you never really appreciate how just fucking amazing living in college is until you're not in college anymore. But like just being able to play games that easily with people like your own age group and social group, it was just so awesome. So like, yeah, I totally like respect, like, yeah, sometimes getting a server just to play with, a couple close friends or your brother is totally worth it.
What we like to do is just we get the server, we get ourselves all set up, and then we open it to everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, I will never be as good as anything in my life as I was in college at Smash Brothers 64.
Oh God, I was Mario King.
Like, and the thing that I very quickly learned about Smash is that people love talking smack about Smash. I played against the same 4 guys throughout the entirety of my college career, and then maybe junior, senior year, when my high school friends comes up to visit, and he sees the N64 on the ground, and he's like, "Oh, you play Smash?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play a little. Do you play?" He's like, "I'll make you my bitch." I was like, oh, that sounds very aggressive, but sure, let's get a game in. So I play Samus, not a high tier character, especially in Smash 64. And he chooses Kirby, like very high tier character. And keep in mind, I've only played against 4 people, like my entire Smash career. We do 5 stock. He takes me out 3 lives in a row.
Oh boy.
And then I'm like, oh, download complete. And then I waste him 5 lives in a row without taking like another hit. And he was like, oh, you just got lucky. I'm like, dude, you're the only other Pikachu player, Kirby player I've ever played against in my life. I just learned what you did. It took me a little bit. Jeez. And then I took you 5 lives in a row. That's not luck, son. Nothing can be described as luck. Can I buy your soundtrack? Archer Mar says yes. Yes, I would like nothing better. Here, let me get you.
Yeah, get the links up for everything that you want to link.
Yeah, we're running out of time here for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. The soundtrack, just everyone knows. I love it if you buy the soundtrack because I don't make any money off the soundtrack. The almost like out of every soundtrack sale, I make maybe 60 cents because everything in the soundtrack it goes towards the artists.
Awesome.
So if you want to support them, please buy the soundtrack.
We saw the credit list on that. That was, or we went to the credits and you have a lot of
what's
credits.
your actual team size?
So I would say so it's a revenue share project. Oh, here's the thing. It's a revenue share project. Everyone's working part-time, full-time, which is why we have a ton of people who are contributing when we can. And there are a lot to be honest, there are a lot of people who cycled in and out of the project who are like, oh yeah, I would totally love to work on your game. And I'm like, cool, here's a task. And they do one task. I'm like, neat, here's another task. And then I never hear from them again.
I've had one of those.
Oh yes.
Yep. They say, hey, can you build this system? Sure. Did you build it? Yeah, for my game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Right? And so, just to not be a dick, I'm like, okay, here's your name in the credits. Whether or not I actually used their stuff and kept their stuff, I'm like, when in doubt, I'll just put their name in the credits. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. But yeah, the core team size I would say is 4 or 5 people. Artist,
you
one
did it!
sound guy.
Oh
shit! You're
oh, I got an assault gunship. Oh, I'm so gonna die right now.
No, he's got the gunship, buddy. He's at 13,000.
Oh god!
I see it on the screen.
God,
just in the nick of time to finish the show with some bad.
Oh god, no! I gotta get my dude.
Hurry!
Yeah, go get your health.
He disappeared and I died.
Oh.
So just for notice, you can stall that guy from disappearing just by killing enemies. Killing any enemy resets the timer on him.
Oh, okay.
So if he's far away, you can be like, oh shit, I just kill some guys on the way over. 13,000 though, dude. You went from going to 2,000, dying at 1,000.
It looked like he just jumped from $7,000 to over 10, just like that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what just happened here? No, that was pretty good. I started getting a real feel for the controls afterwards. I know that I'm still basically button mashing, but I'm button mashing in a way that I know that actually worked.
Yeah, you're definitely you got a lot better throughout the half hour that we were.
Of course,
hour? Oh my god, yeah.
Of course, what's the highest score you've seen?
So, for a while, I thought I was like, I've been working on this game for 3 years. I'm like, I tend to cap out around 30,000. And then one of the guys I'm working on with my next game on, he was like, oh shit, yeah, I killed the second gunship. I was like, wait, what? You actually got to that? And he's at 65,000. I'm like, holy shit. Just for self-promotional stuff, if you guys don't mind, I'm posting the project I'm working on now.
You do everything you want to do, and we would love to hear about it.
It's called Blubber Busters. It's being made with 3 guys from Riot, one of the developers from Ori and the Blind Forest, me, I think the sound designer on Legend of Gungeon, and the musician from Risk of Rain. So pretty cool team there, and it's you can check out the trailer that's there, and it's basically like this Rayman origin style of really painted looking art style about a 2D platformer where you're crocodiles, they have the birds that pick their teeth. whatever. It's
Yeah.
basically that, but for giant space whales, and you set up human-operated cleaning stations, and space whales like, I'm
Holy
not
space
feeling,
whales.
I'm not
Is
feeling
there
good."
delicious space whale milk?
I love space whales. Yeah.
There might be. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Well, I want to extend this right now. If you have enough done to fill a segment, I want to see it.
I'll
And
let you guys know. There's a
definitely.
and by I should not take credit for this. I joined the team relatively recently. The team's several years old, but yes, I will definitely pass this on to the team. They're trying to get a playable demo up together, and yeah, I will definitely hit you guys up with it. And yeah, the game is all about like, oh, you have a very sick ailing space whale, and you're like little human with a flamethrower entering its bowels and its lungs to like burn out
Make it
the
better.
critter
All
in the
right.
station.
I dig it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's just so random, and I love it.
Yep. so
You've
yeah,
been
we're
great
looking-
fun, buddy.
Yeah,
This has been a good segment.
It's been like this is what we love to have. It's just like shoot the shit. That's the
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what we do here. It's what we want to aim for. Is shooting the shit for an hour and having fun talking about the
Is there a
game.
Chris Rockfish working at this whale car wash?
All right,
Yeah.
and with that said, it is now 9 o'clock. So yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this. If you
for
have any
joining
updates
us,
for
guys.
Blood Alloy, or if you want to, if they want to be on the show, just get a hold of us. I always answer my tweets. So yep, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next time we see you.
Thanks,
Great
man.
night,
Thanks
guys.
for everyone for watching. Take care,
Yeah.
everyone.
And thanks everybody for stopping by. If you enjoyed this, please follow us here. Follow us on Steam. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where this will be archived. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Tinder. Follow us on Tumblr. Follow us on Grindr.
Oh, shit, Grinder. Yeah,
Grindr.
Grinder.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding with that one, or am I? No. But anyways, again, thanks everybody for stopping by, and we will see you all tomorrow for WSD Play, where we play some Warface with Sam Sketch and the crew.
Shit,
Word up. Peace, guys. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.